Be careful. Don't lean too much so you don't get knocked out.
Yep. All right. What's going on? What's going on? Really? You should have just left it the way it was.
No, because if it falls down and knocks you out.
This guy's. What's going on, everybody? Why Tonya fixes her light. Her lovely Hobby Lobby light. Obviously, tonight's going to be a big night here on the cave. I'm rocking the Yankees because World Series going on right now. So let's go, Yanks. But lost my voice last night because I was there. But we have two very special guests, and we're going to bring them in here one by one. And you know who they are. They don't need any introduction. But we'll start with the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Scott Settlemire. Welcome to the cave, sir.
Glad to be here.
And then on to our right, we have Drake from Car Show Life.
Hi.
What's going on, guys? So we're Tony is gonna set this up for you guys, and we're gonna be answering questions. So whatever you guys have, definitely say hello, and we'll read the comments, and I'll scroll the comments through the screen too, so you guys can see them and make it easy for you as well. Take it away, Miss T.
I need to bring that up.
Oh no, I'll read the things. That's fine. That's good.
Okay,
all right, there you go.
All right, guys. So we have a lot to keep you busy with tonight. We've got two amazing dudes on here. We've got Scott, who can tell us all about the history of the Camaro. And we've got Drake with us, who can make your Camaro look amazing for car shows. Or, just make your garage look good, whatever.
By the way, Drake lives about 2 miles from me.
Yeah.
I know, right? I don't know why we have them on separately. They could have just been one at the other's house or something.
Exactly.
I was about 30 minutes away from the start of this when I was like, I should have invited Scott over here, and then we could have set up in this room.
That would have been cool.
I was wondering how that was going to play out. I was like, I wonder if they'll show up together or if we're going to have them on two separate screens. But here they are, not at each other's homes. And Mars is not that big, y'all.
No, it is not. Although, to hear Scott say it, I live in 7 Fields. So it's technically not
We
Mars.
share the same zip code.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is it's all Adams Township zip code. So
Exactly.
We saw 7 Fields and heard the story of how that became.
Yes.
Charles wants to know if you're at SEMA, which clearly we just said. We just
Not
found that out.
But if I fly out on Monday, so it is going to be it's going to be a grind.
Ain't that for sure? Also, guys, I know everyone's in here. I'm getting to all the comments up here, but definitely subscribe to Car Show Life. Go check out Drake's YouTube channel. We need to help this man get over that 1,000 subscriber mark and get him up there. Come on, guys.
Get him in there, guys.
There's some really good stuff up there right now, especially if anybody watching is thinking about attending the SEMA show or is going this year. I just released a video on how to conquer the SEMA show and things that you should know before you head to Las Vegas for that event. And it's only about 5-6 minutes long, but stuff that I wish I had known before the first time I ever went.
Mm-hmm.
I'll work for food if you'll take me.
Well, how about this? My 80-year-old mother-in-law was trying to jump onto my trip. And I was like, no, Marmar, he has to work. He's going to go with you to the casino.
Yeah, no, I don't. I'm not a casino person, but SEMA's been on my bucket list for over a decade, and I almost got there with Onyx because of the company who did her paint.
Mm-hmm.
And the car, she was a backup car, and the car that they did not think was going to make it, they pulled it out like pulling 24-hour shifts.
Mm-hmm.
And then they called me like, I don't know, 3 or 4 days ahead of time and said, sorry, your car's not going. Like, oh, I almost made it.
And that's the tough part about this event. I had heard so much about this, and I was like, well, why can't I go? Why am I not able to go? And you have to understand that this is a trade show. This is where business gets done, and you can't have the convention center floor filled with a bunch of looky-loos when you're trying to establish, deals of hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars for the coming year. So that's one of the things that I didn't quite understand. But I worked in radio for 20 years, and the way I grew my radio career was to go to the big conventions, to learn who the players were, to network. And so when I made the switch with Car Show Life to automotive, I said, well, SEMA is definitely someplace I've got to be. And when I applied the first time, I didn't have the requirement. My business was only 18 months old at that point. And, I didn't have any of the requisite receipts required to prove that I was a legitimate automotive business. So I was denied entry. And then at the time I was doing this show, much like you guys do here live, I did once a month with the newspaper competitor website in North Central Pennsylvania. And we did car show topics. And I thought, well, maybe they'll take me as a media person. So I applied for a media credential in 2021, got accepted, and made the most of that trip thinking I will never, ever get back here. And so I saw everything, did as much as I could, stood in line for autographs and meet and greets, got to shake hands with people that I really admired, or seen on TV or on the internet, and doing.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
are we losing you, Drake? I think we're losing Drake there.
Meanwhile, I did SEMA show for GM for like 5 years while I was show and exhibits manager for Chevy and Cadillac.
So you saw it from a totally different perspective.
Yes.
So tell us your perspective of SEMA.
Because I feel like the auto shows have changed so drastically over the years.
Yeah. But SEMA is an absolute must attend if you're in the automobile business. But I got to tell you something. At the time, I had a BlackBerry instead of a smartphone, and I had to have put on 50,000 steps each day.
That's a lot.
Mm. Well, first of all, it's a huge convention center, and it's literally from one end to the other, and in the outside. So,
yeah.
Yeah, and it's even bigger now, Scott, because they added the West Hall that you actually have to go across the street to get to.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where stuff is like detailed products and tools and things of that nature. So if you want to see what Adams and Good Guys and Griot's Garage and McGuire's are doing, you got to go over to that part. But then if you want to go look at tires and wheels and all that stuff, that's on the completely other side of the property on the South Hall. Yeah. So, you almost have to tackle that thing as a spectator or attendee.
Yeah.
If you want to see something, take a building and spend the day there.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many cars usually go into those kind of events?
Oh, thousands.
Yeah. It's because you have displays indoors. You have Optima Batteries autocross challenge going on outside on the one part of the property. The Hoonigan has this burn yard where they're doing drifting and burnout competitions. And then there's a main parking lot where they have outdoor vendors. So a lot of those detail companies that I mentioned, they'll have tents and trailers outside and do detail clinics and stuff like that with cars that are out there. Some of the OEMs would have ride and drives or new product demonstrations. So, it is a great car show, both inside and out, that the average enthusiast doesn't get to go to. That's why I go with Car Show Life, to take you, the enthusiast, along for the ride.
Sure.
Yes. So definitely don't miss out, guys. If you want to see his videos behind the scenes in SEMA, subscribe to his channel and get on there and watch it and help this man grow to over 1,000. We got to get him there, and he's going to do it this year. I feel it.
Yeah, I feel it too. I I've been brushing up on my techniques, learning about how to construct better videos, more interesting topics. So, the walk arounds seem to be the most important thing. Take a minute or two, walk around the car, point out the stuff that hides in plain sight, point out some of the aftermarket parts that are used, because that's how these cars get in there. They are using the parts that are on display. So you go to see Roadster Shop's display, they are going to have a car there built with a Roadster Shop chassis, and it's going to have a bunch of other stuff on there that you can also see at SEMA, from transmissions and suspension components and brakes. And it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
For sure.
The
David,
last year I did it, we had just come out with the 5th gen Camaro, and I think GM gave out 36 cars for SEMA, and it was by far the most popular car there that year.
Yeah.
A lot of people are on here saying hello, of course. They're just signing on.
Well, this is awesome.
David said Drake and Car Show Life are amazing, and he loves how you told his story on his storyboard.
He
Was
really
that David?
appreciates that. Yeah.
Well, David was our first Dweller deal. So
There you go.
we have the Dweller deal with the Camaro Cave. So all you cave dwellers, you can get 15% off your Car Show display board design at carshowlife.com with the code Dweller at checkout. So
Perfect. Look at that. I
you
must
get yourself something like this here.
You couldn't do better if you was family.
Yeah. And, I've done all 3 of Scott's Camaros.
Yep.
So he's a customer. Of course, we got 3 out of the 4 Camaro Cave Camaros. So we'll get the Onyx in 2025. But this is 12 by 18. It's a nice size. This is 3D layers. So it's got the data plate comes off. So if you do update equipment, you do mods, we don't have to redo the whole thing. We just pop this off and we can replace it. Same thing with the hero shot, I call it. Here's where we started, and here's where we are now. This is the car as it sits behind me. So, it'll always be the same year, make, and model, but it won't always look like this. It won't always have this equipment. So I'm trying to make life easier for the enthusiast, and keep in mind that people like to tinker. And you go to an event like the SEMA show, and you're going to walk out of there going, man, I know what I'm doing my car next year.
100%. And I want one of those clip thingies. I need one of those clip thingies next, because I keep screwing it.
Yes,
I'm like, all right.
The Car Show Clamp 2.0, which just launched this fall, it has the 2-button quick release as opposed to the threaded mount. And now those quick releases I'm using on all of the stands and the clamp. And I'm also offering an upgrade package. I haven't updated the website yet for it, but if people have bought the clamp in its previous iteration, we're selling it for about $25. It comes with the hardware and the clip. You just replace the thread off of the threaded portion and put this on.
Cool.
So the website's going to have a whole new look in 2025. And we're also launching a new product. So I started 2 years ago, started thinking about a concept I called Car Show in a Box. How could I make Car Show in a Box? What is Car Show in a Box? Well, I came up with this idea. I saw so many of these indoor shows where stanchions were traffic cones or overturned 5-gallon buckets with rope, twine strung to them, and they're taped down to the floor with gaffer's tape, and it looks awful. And then the alternate is these big 40-inch tall stanchions with the velvet ropes that block your view of the car. You can't take a good picture of it. So I started researching and figuring out what is the best size, what is the best thing to do. And I came up with this. Now, this is the prototype here. So this stanchion is actually 23 inches tall. The production is going to be 22, but it is all steel, CNC cut. It's got a nice base. The base of the production will be fully covered felt pad. It's going to have a quick disconnect here at the base. So you just undo the thumb screw and you're able to pull this off. These are designed to be nestable. And then when you set them up, it's going to look something like this in front of Phantom here. We've got two together. So this is what the production version is going to look like. It's going to be powder coated, 22 inches tall, and it's going to not block the view of the car, but give you a nice barrier from people getting too close. And the nice thing about this, the shape, instead of using a ring, I used my Car Show Life logo here. So you have a nice carry handle. And when you take these apart, the ropes will come pre-measured in 10-foot segments, so you don't need to guess about how much space you have. So you're set up for 10 by 20 or 20 by 20. And then you have this little wing nut. Loosen the wing nut. That slides out, and then these all nest together. Put it all in the back of the car and roll out of the show. Car show in a box. And with that, you're also going to get 4 of these LED battery-powered lights.
Oh, I love those lights.
And one of our car show wedges. So you go to the World of Wheels, you go to Autorama, you get one of these placards, right? Well, most people just lay them flat on the floor or lean them against the car. Well, with our car show wedge, you can set this on the floor and it'll sit upright for easier viewing from behind stanchions, or it'll mount this way so you can set it upright and so people can see your stuff and it's not laying on the floor.
See, I like that a lot.
So that's all going to come together. I haven't gotten all the pricing out yet, but I'm looking at it to be retailing. The original version retailed for about $4.99. We're looking at that probably being $6.99. But when you think about what you're getting something that's specifically designed for car shows. You're getting the lights, you're getting the stand, and you're getting a storable, very portable design as opposed to 40 inches and velvet ropes or the retractable ribbons. So look for that on the Car Show Life website, probably end of December, beginning of January, just in time for Autorama.
So we have a question out here. CCFBG Garage wants to know if you ship to Canada.
I unfortunately do not ship to Canada, but maybe we can make that work this year. If I get more Canadian customers, I may have to do that. I've only had one Canadian customer, and that was at the Detroit Autorama. And he was actually passing through Western Pennsylvania on his way to a show in Philly in April. And so I gave him delivery at the Seven Fields Giant Eagle, Scott.
Oh, that's too great.
For those of you who don't live in Pennsylvania, Ohio, Giant Eagle is the local grocery chain.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like a Kroger or a Dillon's to you guys on the West and Midwest.
Or a Publix down in the South. Or a Piggly Wiggly. You assume correct, CJ. 15% off. Everyone qualifies. No unreasonable offer refused.
So Charles is asking if you're going to ever have the ability to create an under the hood mural.
No, like airbrushed onto the hood liner.
Is that what you mean, Charles?
That's an interesting question.
Yeah, because that's, I'm strictly doing the graphics and then I send it out to in Texas. What I do is I do the digital part of it and then I farm it out to a sign company that does signs every day. Because I don't have the ability to be able to do that. Yeah, that's what my Canadian customer was going to do. is he has a post office box in Detroit, and we were going to send it to him there. So
makes sense.
That's
El
awesome.
Presidente's on it.
Guys, totally worth it. I mean, I came from the Midwest, and the Midwest is super windy, and showboards were, if any of y'all have seen my showboard weighs 85 pounds.
Yeah, and I have to pick it up every day.
That's a lot.
My showboard.
That's a lot. And, you know, the idea that the stuff that I do, I've designed it with that in mind. I've designed it to have some weight, but not be too heavy.
Yeah, it's
I've
nice.
designed it to be portable. I had a beautiful showboard. There was a company called Produx Company out of northern Ohio, northeastern Ohio. They did injection molded plastic showboards. And that was like club I was with in Kentucky. Everybody had one of those. They were like, you know, 11 inches wide by 22 inches long under a piece of plexiglass, 4 screws held it in place. You filled it with, you know, ballast or, you know, water or pebbles or something to weigh it down. But the thing I didn't like about it was when you put it in the car, and at the time I was driving a 5th gen convertible, it was L-shaped. There was no way to make it flat so it would fit under the top stack in the trunk. So
Sorry.
I was thinking, there's got to be a better way.
For sure.
So that's where a lot of the products that I've developed, the Car Show clamp, my 3-piece stands, everything that I've come up with for the Car Show Life brand has been based on my Car Show experience with that 5th gen convertible and trying to make most of the space allotted.
Yeah, when I ordered one for Thor, I ordered size large.
Yes.
And I realized I have to put it in Thor with the rest of my luggage and my car cleaning materials. So I now use the smaller one.
Because that was the situation. I brought it to Camaro Nationals in the convertible, and Scott says, "Hey, can you take this home for me? Because I have to take cousin Sue back." So
Crazy.
I brought it home for him and delivered it here in Western Pennsylvania.
That's awesome. Well, side note, Yankees are up by 3. Judge just hit a home run. Here we go. Oh, that's so cool. You know what, guys? This stuff, we're not just preaching it because we use it. We use it every day at these shows. So
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it really is worth its weight in gold for sure.
Well, I appreciate that, you guys, and I appreciate the time you give me here to talk about the brand, to talk about my channel. I am so excited for this coming week.
Anthony keeps us updated in the scores, or Anthony said we have to take you off the TV.
But baseball is best on the radio.
Exactly.
You know, I always like to listen to Sterling, and you know what? It's upsetting that he's no longer on the radio. But
well, and
I would have the game
I know
on
this is
and the radio
kind of
playing.
sacrilegious talking to the Yankee fan, but Vin Scully, one of the greatest of all time for the Dodgers. So you know there are, and that was a guy who literally could paint a picture with words.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Some people got the magic.
Yeah, yeah. I
I
paint a picture with words, but I use text and pictures.
Yep.
Okay.
Tony has a few comments behind. It's okay.
Oh, okay.
No, see, the baseball on the radio is just hits different. But I like it. I enjoy same thing when I watch my Philadelphia Eagles. I will have the game on the TV and listen to Mil Reese on the radio as I'm watching the game on TV, just because it sounds better than whatever they got Tom Brady talking about it.
Yeah.
Crazy. But yeah. Car
Right.
channel. Let's go.
So we have new viewers. We have a lot of new viewers that have never experienced.
Nice, Ryder.
Good night, Spider. Have never experienced a live with Scott. So, Scott, tell us.
First of all, yeah, tell us who you are.
Tell our viewers, tell our new viewers.
I'm a nobody, but evidently Tanya and Andrew have never been told that.
No, I don't think we have.
No, we missed that memo. Sorry. So tell our viewers.
Well, I worked for GM for 40 years, and I was fortunate enough to go on the Camaro Corvette product team, or the marketing and product team, in 1996. So I was very much involved with the 4th gen cars, and then I worked to bring the 5th car back, and then I retired just as we were launching the 6th gen.
And we all call him the FbodFather, but we didn't give you that name. That name was given to you.
Exactly. 1997, we're at Camaro's at Carlisle, and it is like 110 degrees in the shade. And I had the Camaro anniversary tour there. One was enclosed in an 18-foot trailer, an 18-wheeler trailer, and then I had a small, I want to say it was 26 or 30-foot trailer on a 5th wheel, and that was our office, and it was air conditioned. So we had a couple dozen Camaro enthusiasts in there, most of them from from Hudson Valley, New York, and they said, "You're going to be our godfather." Now, all these guys are Italian, and they all have nicknames like Joey Rags and or Joey. Anyway, Kevin Rags. Anyway, Joe decides, "No, you're going to be our FbodFather," and so it stuck. I was 12 when the car came out, so.
Yeah, but you're still the reason why, even in the 6th generation car, there's still an F in the VIN number.
Exactly. I made sure. People kept saying there is no such thing as an F body. I said, "Oh, yes, there is." Yes, there is, because if you look at the VIN number, it's the 3rd digit.
There we go.
Yeah. I've known Scott for years.
Oh, no, it's
I've been him for a while. I'm just hearing this for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
I did not realize that.
Oh, yeah.
Both of
Dropping
you.
some dimes.
I
Both of
insisted.
you have names.
Yes, watch your toes. Scott is dropping knowledge.
G7.
And they can't fire me because I'm retired.
There you go.
But there.
G7 is asking, now that the Camaro's been gone for just about a year. Oh my God, that's crazy.
I know.
Well, that all depends on who wins the election next week.
Are there any rumbles about a 7th gen in the works?
Well, we were working on a 7th and an 8th gen. And then somebody got elected, and that changed everything. So the EPA passed ridiculous gas mileage rules. And so that's why the Challenger and the Charger have gone away. They're keeping the Mustang, but Chevy can either build a Corvette or a Camaro, but not both. And they make a lot more on a Corvette than they do on a Camaro. So
Keep the faith, y'all. Keep the faith.
100%.
Well, and just to bring it back around to what I was talking about earlier with SEMA and the aftermarket, I think that my next Camaro is going to be one that will be built with aftermarket parts. We're going to find an older car, something that maybe I haven't had. I've had 3rd through 6th. So now it's time for a 1st or 2nd. And, I'm going to rely on my experience going to the SEMA show to build my next car, because
I would suggest 2nd or 3rd gen.
Yeah. Well, and that's some of the buzz that I'm seeing at SEMA this year, that QA1 has launched a new suspension upgrade for 3rd gens.
Mm-hmm.
So I will be looking for that while I'm at SEMA next week, and looking for all the cool Camaro builds. So I think that, while we will try to keep the faith for a new Camaro sometime in the future. The aftermarket will keep us busy tinkering in our garages for sure.
We like to hear that.
All righty. So Jan says, Scott, I had a fourth convertible, a fifth gen convertible, my daily driver, and 2024 convertible, 30 years of driving convertible Camaros.
God bless you.
So we also have a question in there for you, Scott, to explain why was it called Fbod?
Well, that's how GM used to identify all their passenger cars. For instance, a Caprice and a Pontiac Catalina and a Buick LeSabre were B bodies. Cadillac DeVilles and Electra 225s and Oldsmobile 98s were C bodies. Back in the 70s, Chevelle was an A body and the Monte Carlo was A special. Corvettes are Y bodies. And the Camaro and Firebird were called F bodies. Now, we have changed the nomenclature to the GMX. Good example, the fifth gen is a GMX 520. But I felt because there was such a following that we had to put in the VIN number, the first digit in your VIN. If it's a 1, it's built in the United States. If it's a 2, it's built in Canada. The second digit in a Camaro is G. Anything after 1980 is G. The next digit on all Chevrolets is 1. And the fourth digit is F. I insisted that we put the F in the VIN number. So there was, up until last December, an F body.
It's so sad. Can you believe it's almost been a year since the last car came off the line?
Mm-hmm. Sad.
Sad, very sad. And now General Motors only makes one manual transmission car?
2. Both Cadillacs, the CT4 and CT5 come with a manual transmission, but the Corvette only comes with an automatic.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Never thought I'd live to see the day that GM was down to 4 passenger cars. 2 Cadillacs, the Corvette and the Malibu, and the Malibu ends this November.
It's crazy. Really is. The times.
Surreal. It just doesn't seem like
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't seem like it's been a year. It went by so fast.
Oh, and for those of you who know John Fitzpatrick, he was just promoted today. He is now in another division of General Motors. Pontiac is not coming back. The reason Pontiac went away is Pontiac and Oldsmobile were losing stupid amounts of money. And that's why Pontiac's not coming back. It's sad because as far as I'm concerned, you could tell a Pontiac coming down the road. It had probably one of the most brand recognizable, it was a portfolio full of cars that you could tell was a Pontiac. Mm-hmm. But to give you an idea, Oldsmobile, in the last 5 years of Oldsmobile production, the only car we made money on was the Olds Aurora, and we made $23 a car. We lost as much on an Olds Intrigue as we make on a Chevy Impala.
Wow. And they haven't made the Chevy Impala since what was it, 2019?
2020 was the last one. And it's because we closed the plant that built that and the Volt and the Buick LaCrosse and the Cadillac XT5. No, CT5. CTS.
CTS, okay.
Oh, XTS. Front-wheel drive, full-size Cadillac. And the CT6. So we built those in 3 plants and they all closed. Jan, you say you still want a 67 GTO. You sure about that?
Gas hog.
All right. You were saying congrats to John. Where did he move up to?
I can't remember right now. It
Put
was
him on
a
a
message
spot.
today
It's
that I
okay.
got with like 20 some retirements, and
Congrats to
say somebody
John.
that retired.
Yay, John.
I'm sorry.
But congrats to John. Yay, John.
Yes.
Wow. Look at that, Morgan. That's awesome. That's awesome. A lot. Yeah, if you guys have any questions for these two, definitely put them in the comments. We'll keep on scrolling here. I think you had a question, didn't you? Or actually, I had a question because now that 2024 Camaros, there's less than like 50 available on the market right now, brand new still at dealerships. So when the Camaro started, I don't know if you can talk a little bit about that. Some people don't really know about it because there was something called CPAW.
Well, back in 1966, the rumor was that we were going to build this car. It was going to be called a Panther. And so Pete Estes decided, and I had a whole article on this, but he put out a press release to all these press people around the country that they were going to have a meeting of CPAW. And everybody sent a note back going, "What is CPAW?" And he said, "Well, next week, you're going to be in this 22 city hookup where we're going to talk about building this new car." And CPAW stands for the Society of Eradication of Panthers from the Automotive World. And so I want to say it was June 29th or June 30th of 1966. Pete Estes, and I got to tell you something. You have to think about this. Back then, nobody had done anything from city to city. I mean, it was the Bell system. And I mean, this took 6 months to set up. And they did it from the Statler Hilton Hotel in downtown Detroit, which is sadly no longer there. But he started out with, "Welcome to the initial meeting of CPAW, and it will be the last meeting of CPAW." And he talked about this, about car sales, and we had just opened a couple of plants, Lordstown, Ohio being one of them. And he talked about sales figures, and he says, "Oh, by the way, the reason we're here today is, you all have been writing articles about this Panther, and we want to scratch that from the automotive world forever." And so he said, "We've come up with this name," and he had several pretty young ladies come out with all these letters, and he put them online. He said, "Camaro." Well, Camaro means friend, power, comrade. They found it in 1935 Heath's English to French dictionary. And of course, at the time, all of our cars started with a C: Chevelle, Chevy 2, Corvair, Corvette. So it had to start with a C. And there were like 2,000 names that they came up with, and it came down to 4. And Pete's son, who is a Chevy dealer in Indianapolis, says, "Yeah, I remember him coming home for dinner and asking us which one we wanted, and that was the name." So,
And Camaro was born.
mm-hmm. Now, there are some people that say, "What's a Camaro?" It's a small, vicious animal that eats Mustangs, but that's not true.
But it's stuck.
Yes.
It did stick real good.
Whoever slid that in, that's stuck, because we still hear it today.
Well, like I say, I often wonder if he had any idea that this car would bring so many people around the world together as a friend, power, comrade. Mm-hmm. And there's a whole quote that, I wrote it down, and I put it on several awards different times. But he talked about, this car is lithe and graceful, and it suggests the friendship or comradeship between good people. So,
Emily.
Yep, 100%. And I couldn't agree more about all that. I mean, we all know each other because of this vehicle.
Yep.
We're together because of this vehicle. Like, and you really, it's been passed down from generation to generation, and I don't see that stopping.
well, here's the other thing. When we did the 30th anniversary cars, they had gone and pulled out all this stuff from the archives, and I found all of the notes from that day, that June of 1966. And I mean, they had how many miles of cable it took and how many switches and how many operators. And basically, nobody had ever done that before. Because, of course, there wasn't anything like a computer or even linking up, you know, if you called on a line that had 2 different phones, yes, you could do 3 people, but 22 cities?
It was a great experiment in dial-up.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Before AOL.
That's my bell.
Yeah.
Oh man, unbelievable.
Well, hey guys, I've got to sign off here, but I want to thank you guys again for having me on. And again, thank you for what you do for Camaro in helping keep the faith and keeping Scott's attitudes that we've had in GM, you know, alive and well, and moving it further down the line. So here's hoping we do get a 7th gen Camaro. But in the meantime, I'll be here to tell the stories of your 1st through 6th gen Camaros. And, you know, if you have a Mustang too. For everybody.
Money's money.
Any car, right? Any cars. Just bring them to the
Definite no to a Toyota, though.
Hey, the best show boards I do are the ones that have great stories, and there are great stories with all kinds of cars. So I hope you'll check me out, carshowlife.com. Follow me at CarShowLife on YouTube when we go to SEMA next week. And you guys are awesome. Scott, I will see you somewhere down Route 228.
Yep.
Take care, everybody.
That. Have a good night, man. He's always a good guy.
Definitely talented.
Very, very talented. Yep. And definitely thanks for all he does for sure. Of course. Jake will tell your story. 100%. Yeah. Well, if you guys got any other questions for Scott, we don't want to keep him too late too, but we love having him. We're definitely going to be getting together soon, and we could be doing this again with Scott all together in one room. Make it easy for you guys, for sure. But anything else you guys want to ask Scott before we go here too? Oh, Mark wants to know, and he sent me a picture of a black Suburban, and apparently there's a huge story with a black Suburban.
Yeah, we don't even know this.
I've never heard this story before.
I don't know what you're talking about. Are you talking about the dreaded black Suburban?
Yes.
Oh.
Apparently that's what we're talking about.
Well, when I was auto show manager, I had GM Creative Services make up decals, the dreaded black Suburban, because I used to threaten people with black Suburbans. Because let's face it, black Suburbans can be pretty intimidating. And I also had them do one in reverse so that when I pulled up behind somebody, they could look in the rearview mirror and it said the dreaded black Suburban.
Nice. Very nice. That's hey, you get thrown in one of those things, you're gone. You don't know what's going to happen.
So I did that for several different events. So
DC wants to know if you think the Chevelle is going to make a comeback.
you can read all about it at www.notgonnahappen.com.
Wow.
Scott's crushing dreams tonight.
People keep talking about this Chevelle. We're not going to bring a Chevelle back.
I got a call.
We just dropped the Malibu, which of course is the name of the back when we brought the Chevelle out in the fall of '63 as a '64 model. There was the base model was a 300, and then the Malibu was the mid-level, and then the Malibu SS was the top. So
literally, I got a call about two days ago. A guy wanted to know when they were bringing the 2026 Chevy Bel Air. I was like,
again, www.whatgonnahappen.com.
Yeah,
It's all there.
There's so much fake designs out there, and people and these YouTube channels are pushing all these fake videos of vehicles coming out there that are never going to see the light of day. So it's just
well, first of all, they're doing it on all these software programs.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
They look really nice, but they're impossible to build. First of all, most of them won't pass crash-worthy standards. So,
and that's really the story on why the 4th generation car went away, right?
That's correct. It couldn't pass. There was a new federal head impact standard that took place on September 1st of 2002. And the 4th gen F body couldn't meet that. We would have had to have padded the windshield so much that you would have been 411 to be able to see out of it. And in fact, if you look at the 2003 Corvette, there is right behind the driver's door and the passenger's door, there are 2 big black plastic thick biscuits. And that's how Corvette was able to meet that standard. The other thing is, people keep asking us why the sun visors on a 5th gen are so small. Head impact standards. We couldn't pass the head impact standards by making them any bigger than they were.
Yeah, I don't know why they're in there. Just to catch his paperwork, I guess, because that's all we use them for.
That's all.
It helps a little bit, but that's we just
it's a good way to like wake up and start giggling again, because you reach up and pull it down and then go, hey, that's right, why do I do that? And you put it back.
100%.
Well, I remember being in a product planning meeting with Bob Lutz. Remember him?
Yeah.
And it was interesting. It was a truck review meeting, and he looked at the one designer and says, why do we have 2 sun visors? Your driver's sun visor is a 2-piece sun visor. So the designer said, Bob, get in the car. So he did. And he shines a light in. And Bob pulls the sun visor down, but it's still hitting him in the eyes. And he reaches over and pulls the piece out. So that's the reason that we did that in Chevy trucks.
That made sense, though.
Mm-hmm.
And I've even, I don't think it was in a Chevy, but I've even seen the ones where you pull it down and then pull it down again.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they may have been an aftermarket attachment. I don't know. It wasn't any more useful than the one in the Camaro. But I laugh because we don't, we put them up for the winter. We don't drive them every day. And then going and pulling that down after being in like the truck, that the visor's this big.
I am going through Camaro withdrawal because I put Thor away this afternoon. He was the last one to get put into hibernation. I met Steven Rodriguez for lunch today and took Thor over. But as soon as I got back, I washed him and covered him and put the battery tender on him and covered them all up. So
is there a special tender that you like to use?
Not particularly.
Okay. Figured I'd ask.
I have 3 different kinds for 3 different Camaros, but
we have 4.
I know, but it's just whatever works.
You never have too many,
This is true. And Linda knows all about that.
We have a couple of backups just in case.
Can you explain the need for aftermarket T-tops on 3rd gen, but not on the 4th? Well, okay, we did offer. We didn't. Early on, we offered aftermarket. We didn't. General Motors didn't do this, but you could get T-tops on a 3rd gen car before we made it optional. And of course, and here's another thing. People would always look for a 4th gen without T-tops, thinking that it's going to be more structurally sound. I got news for you. A non-T-top car, if you remove the headliner, the T-tops are there without the T-top, the glass inserts. So it didn't change the structural rigidity of the 4th gen car. Now, people say, well, why didn't you offer it on a 5th gen car? Well, that's simple. If you look, the rear quarter panel is a one piece that comes up, comes across and over top of the window, comes down, makes the A-pillar, comes down underneath the fender, and is also the rocker panel. So that's a huge structural piece of steel. And if you cut that, it just completely ruins the structural rigidity of the car.
Is that the same with the 6th gen? Why they never tried to do it?
Same thing. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I got to tell you something. You look at some of these 5th and 6th gen accidents, and it's a miracle that people even walk away. Because when you're doing 80 and you hit something, the chances of you surviving it are very slim. But 5th and 6th gens have 2 door latches in each door so that the doors won't fly open.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool. I did not know that.
I did not know that either.
Yeah.
Interesting. we wish, Jan. It's actually it was 71 degrees when we started this whole thing. It's beautiful out right now, and tomorrow's gonna be a hot one too. We haven't seen rain in like a month and a half.
Yeah.
Some people have seen plenty.
Yeah, that is
It's
true.
not that I don't like fall. It's just that I know what's coming afterwards. And because I grew up in a Chevy dealership, every time it snowed, we'd all have to go over to the dealership and move the entire inventory to plow snow. And then we'd put them all back only to start over again the next week. Because if you don't plow the snow and the snow builds up, you can't get into the cars. The doors won't open. Jan, where are you living?
Jan is from Texas.
Yeah.
Oh,
Where
okay.
in Texas,
San
but-
Antonio, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
It's 80 today in Southwest PA.
We had an 80 last week. Then it went right back down to 50.
Yes, San Antonio, Texas.
Yeah. San Antonio, Texas.
100%. So any holiday plans for the Mr. Settlemire this year?
No, I'm going to go to Columbus, Ohio, to cousin Carol and cousin Bob's. I remember, when I was a puppy, we went to Aunt Edith's and we had 35 or 40 people there. So, but they're all in that great Chevy showroom in the sky now. So it's kind of lonely here. So I'm going to Columbus a day or two ahead of time. And then I'll drive back late at night, probably on Sunday night. So
how's cousin Tom doing?
Don't know. I think he's out visiting cousin Sue right now.
Okay.
In Scottsdale, Arizona.
We'll have to all get together and do another live with the fans here
Mm-hmm.
in the off season. No rain here in 30 days, and he's in Virginia.
Everybody's missing out on their rain.
69 Camaro Black, straight 6, 3-speed, no options at the last show. Yeah, I laughingly said we built 602 1967 Z28s, and there's still 1,800 of them left.
I'm not a math.
She's not mathing it very well.
That's not working.
Exactly.
Oh man, unbelievable. No,
I went to an auction one time, And somebody paid a stupid amount of money for a 67 Z28, and it turns out it was a fake.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Ended up in court.
Wow. And it's crazy because I keep watching Barrett Jackson and Mecum auctions, and these Camaros are going for some crazy money right now.
Oh, I got another story for you. So anyway, when we went through bankruptcy, the federal courts told us that we had to get rid of some of the cars in the GM collection. So they sent, I want to say it was a 74. No, it was a 72 Olds 442. And we got sued because nobody told me they were sending the car. And I knew it wasn't a real 442. We had made it look like a 442.
Wow.
And the other thing is, when we come out with the C7, we did a poster. Somebody went out and spent a stupid amount of money on a 68 Corvette 427, 435 horsepower for the poster. And I nearly had a fit. I said, why would anybody spend that kind of money on that kind of a Corvette? What they should have done was just buy a plain old Corvette and put a hood on it. We spent 10 times as much money on that car as they should have.
Unbelievable.
Just to take
Yeah, because nobody's going to know that it isn't a real 427. I mean, I don't know that it's still in the historic collection, but geez.
Charles says he'll buy the American Patriot car.
It isn't for sale. That's 300. The last time I looked, it had 314 miles on it.
Wow. And that's in the collection right now.
Oh, yeah.
Where did they moved all the cars now, right?
They're in the middle of it.
Wow.
Well, budget.
It's a lot of cars.
Well, it's getting up there. But the problem is the Heritage Center in Sterling Heights, we don't own that. We lease it. Now, we're going to move, or supposedly they're going to move the Heritage Collection and the GM Archives to a building that we own in Grand Blanc, Michigan. Grand Blanc is just south of Flint. It's a magnificent building. It has all kinds of office space. It's 10 times the size of the building we have. But the problem is it's an hour north of Detroit. And the reason that we put the Heritage Center in Sterling Heights is it's 1.5 miles from the GM Tech Center. So I don't know.
Well, I can't wait till they get all those cars moved because we came across an invite, so we're excited.
Yeah, is that something that you think will ever be open to like the public coming to see?
Don't know.
I mean, I just feel like it could be.
I
like,
know right now the current place up until very recently you could rent it, but you had to use our caterers, and it cost a lot of money to do that because, of course, we had to have staff on watching out for the cars.
Now, why wouldn't they ever try to do something where like they made it into like the Corvette has their own museum? Well, they could have a little museum and make revenue off people coming to see.
You know what a museum is? It's a building that you dump a ton of money into.
That's true.
And this is when they built the Corvette Museum in Bowling Green, Kentucky, which we have nothing to do with, by the way. It was opened by a guy by the name of Dan Gale. And it went bankrupt. And we brought Wendell Strode in. And at the time, I was doing the Fbod events there. It was costing $35,000 a month just to keep the doors open.
Oh, wow.
Now, I'm sure they have had a lot of Corvette owners die and leave them some money. And of course, I used to, when I was running auto shows, and every time GM decided to change something, I'd send all the stuff down there so they could auction it off. And so, good example, we decided to change the fonts for the Chevrolet signature. And so I had 26 signs, and so I sent them down. and said to Wendell, auction these off. So cousin Tom bought one of them and paid $3,000 plus shipping.
Oh my God.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Now every time GM wants to change a logo, that's got to cost some serious money.
Oh, you have no idea. So anyway, one day we have this meeting, and I called it the bow tie police. And it turns out, for years, the Chevrolet emblem was blue. We would change the font in the middle of it and stuff, but back then it was. And then somebody back in the late 80s decided we were going to put gold bow ties on Chevy trucks and a red outline bow tie on our performance cars. And it turns out we actually had a green bow tie somewhere in South America.
I've never seen that before.
Well, so we decided they were going to change. We were going to do away with the blue bow tie and the red outline bow tie, and we were going to do all gold bow ties. So at the time, I had some show packages. I want to say I had 1,200 bow ties that had to be changed. And 1 year later, somebody at GM Design decides that, well, it needs to be more jewel-like. So we're going to change the bow ties once again. So, of course, it cost me a couple $1 million to redo all the bow ties. And, of course, I sent the old ones down to the Corvette Museum. Then somebody decides, well, okay, we're going to change the Cadillac crest. We're going to take the laurel wreaths from away, and it's no longer going to be gold and red and silver. It's going to be shades of black and gray and white. And to just change the GM identification signs in front of the Cadillac dealerships at the time, $50 million.
Holy hell.
Wow.
Now, think about this. That was not the only cost. They had to change everything that had a Cadillac crest on it, including the tooling in all the plants. So,
that
that's
seems like a lot of waste.
I'm sorry, but I don't buy a car based on the emblem.
It seems like a lot of waste.
No, these days most people take them all off.
Well, I used to laughingly say we'd have fist fights over 25 cents a car. It wasn't real fist fights, but it was, we'd pound on the table. Okay. Why?
So when we have a question, when did the black bow tie come into play?
Well, we're now doing, we're every time we have new management at GM Design, we decide to change the rules again. So somebody decided it was a good idea to do black bow ties. So
I'm down.
Anything black, she's down.
I just got black bow ties for my truck.
But you know what's nice though? It's if you want the gold, you can have the gold, and if you want the black, you pay a little extra.
yeah.
So you can have best of both worlds from the factory,
Yeah.
at least. So that's always a bonus. Yankees, another home run. Stanton, 5-0. 5-0 Dodgers. Where you at? Sorry.
Pump the brakes. Turn down the volume.
Here we go. Yes. See, and a lot of them are.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them are. Now, this was always a question that I don't think I've ever asked you. But when General Motors was going through the whole bankruptcy and Camaro was about to come back, do you feel like Camaro and all the sales, because let's be real, they sold over 500,000 fifth gens.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot of cars. Is that one vehicle that kind of turned around General Motors and saved them?
Yes and no. I know this. Bob Lutz was I think he was president of GM at the time. Anyway, he was very, very influential. And
Third inning.
he said, if anybody is going to change something on the Camaro, you will have a meeting with me, and tell me why you want to change it. So that's why the 5th gen Camaro looks very much like the concept car, because we kept it the way it should be.
Okay.
Okay, DC
Yes,
wants
go
to
ahead.
ask about Chevy Legends.
Yes. Someone told me it was a thing. Okay. You talking about the Legends Tour?
And it takes a while for that to generate.
Yeah. For a while, we were out selling Mustang. Well, it wasn't quite 3-to-1. Yeah. Ah, yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we hosted you as part of BBOMG get together at the Heritage Center. We didn't call it the BBOMG, but yes.
What was it called?
BBOMG was Buyers and Builders Oshawa Meet and Greet.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what DC means by legend as a member.
I'm not sure I follow either. What's your reword your question, DC? No worries. Don't be sorry.
What was, how hard was it to get another Z28 back?
Well, it's interesting because the early Z01s, if you look at some of the components underneath the hood, they're actually stamped Z28. But we never built a supercharged Z28, and Mark Royce knew that, and I agreed with him. So that's why the Z01 came back with a supercharged engine. So it was an immediate success, and then we surprised everybody in New York by unveiling the Z28. And of course, I had a bunch of Z01 owners who wanted to trade their Z01s in on Z28s. And I said, don't do it, because the Z28 is nothing but a track car. Even the windows are thinner.
Oh, yeah. And you don't even have AC. It was an option.
Yeah. And the only reason it came with the radio is because that's how you have to let somebody know that they haven't fastened their seatbelt.
Yep. Door chimes.
And in fact, the back seat is not a regular back seat. It takes 8 pounds out of the car. And I said to them, tell you what, I will sell you a Z28 emblem for your Z01. Don't trade it in. Well, we had several people do it, and they found out that they really didn't want a Z28. So,
no, that car was meant for the track.
Yeah.
That's what it was built for.
Exactly. Well, it was interesting because I invited a whole bunch of Camaro enthusiasts to that show, and of course, we're showing the mid-cycle enhancement to the regular Camaro. So it comes out and it's on a turntable, and there's this one turntable in the middle, and everybody's going, okay. And of course, Mark Royce starts the car up behind the stage. And of course, we've got, sound enhancements in this amazing video going, and he pulls out in the Z28 and everybody lost their minds. It was a great thing to see.
Grown men crying.
Exactly.
Hey now.
And women. No, I remember that. I went there a couple of days after with my dealership before they opened it to the public, and I saw that car, and I was first of all, the paint was unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
That matte white,
it
was a great idea to come out with, and then the car just stood for itself.
Yeah.
My next door.
Exciting times to watch that all come together. It was a matte white Z28. It was matte finish instead of shiny.
All right, so DC's catching up with us. It looks like he's asking, how do you become a legend member? Is that really a thing? Like if you buy more than a couple of Chevy vehicles?
No. Yeah, Spider says your ground effects has Z28 on it. Yes, underneath it. And yes,
Linda.
you and Anthony were both at the show.
That's awesome.
No, DC, you can't become a legend if you stay a Chevy customer for years. There's no such thing as a legend club. Initially, somebody's asked, Peter 2001 SS, was there ever going to be a 6th gen Z28? Early on, but because we didn't have the funding for it, it got killed.
And you know what? I remember spy cars driving around with it was basically a ZL1, but it had a lot of missing parts and different parts on it. Because I know they were starting to do a Z28, but again, like you said, they didn't have the funding.
Well, and the other thing is, we didn't do a whole lot of volume with the Z28, so.
See Mark's comment.
Are you referring to the Chevrolet Legend program where they send you a belt buckle, etc.? That's Mark Foster's asking the question, and he's from Canada. I don't know. I don't know that. Well, GM of Canada is different from GM in the United States. So they have a Chevy Truck Legend Club. I guess I'm not aware of that.
Is this something that got like started up by people like us?
Well, let's put it this way. It's not a corporate program. I know that. Yes, and the Z28 was really a straight-up race car. Mm-hmm. And Al Oppenheiser has VIN number 1, and it's a white one, and it doesn't have air conditioning. And he took it, I want to say, on the Power Tour. Was miserable by the time he got back to Michigan.
Ooh, yeah, that had to hurt. All the bumps on the,
well, no air
and no air.
That's
oh my
like
god!
Dead of the summer. When I did the Hot Rod Power Tour, I was so thankful my car had air.
Well, okay. Now let me say this. I've been retired since 2016. Up until 2016, there wasn't one. So, and I'm talking about the Legends Club.
Interesting.
All right, guys. So we'll see if we can figure that out for you. We'll ask our.
Yeah, I know a couple people still at GM. Most of them have retired, but I will ask around, and we'll get back to you on that.
Yeah, we'll find out. We'll find out.
I'm curious.
We'll find out from our insiders.
Yes.
Yeah, because the people have been buying trucks and you're not a member. What the hell?
I mean, I have a truck now.
She does. She really likes her 24 Silverado.
Mm-hmm.
They did a really good job with it.
It's my 3rd Chevy truck.
3rd Chevy truck.
Doesn't make me a legend, I'm sure, but
you're a legend in your own. Oh, Aaron Judge at the wall, catching it. Nice. Top of the 4th, guys. 5-0 Yanks.
Wow.
They're trying to stay alive.
No lifter issues.
Run that, Tanya.
I don't have a gun that big, so if I put my gun in the window, I'm probably going to get arrested. Who asked us that? Like, as soon as they found out that we bought that truck, everybody was like, "All right, do you have a gun rack yet?"
Yeah, a bunch of people were asking me that already. Nope, I just got my Trump flag outside. And all right, I don't care what side you on for the next 6 days. Just go out and vote. What doesn't matter what side you vote for. Just do your civic duty, and if you're American, and vote.
Yep, get out there, guys.
Get out there.
1 more week left. Less than a week.
To Charles, Texas people.
Hey, come on now. Oklahoma and Kansas do it too.
There you go, Charles.
Oh yeah, the last night the guy tried to take the ball out of the glove. Well, you saw what happened. He got thrown out of the game.
You literally, can you imagine? Because I was there, so I know how expensive the tickets were. Like literally, this guy spent thousands of dollars to sit in that seat in the first inning and get thrown out after like 8 pitches. And he, first of all, he got thrown out. He got banned from Yankee Stadium, and so now he can't ever go back. And he's all over the news, all over. He's everywhere. He's like famous now, not in a good way.
Well, so somebody asked me some more questions.
Hey, Art.
I don't know that it'll hold a fifth wheel.
I don't think so. It's only got 9,200 pound towing for the Turbo Max.
Small. It'll pull a small camper.
Yeah, that's about it.
My 2500 did though.
Okay, Spider. Camaro V6 Camaro numbers. What's your question? I don't have my white book in front of me, but I want to say,
for what generation? That should be the bigger question.
Well,
right?
that's the other question. But the original one, LE, I want to say 1988, but I wouldn't swear to that. Let me go get my white book. I'll be right back.
Okay. Mark started asking questions. Get your questions ready, y'all. Interesting. That's about the Legends tour.
No, the Legends Club.
Legends Club? Legends tour.
That makes sense. I feel like I've heard something about that. Like you have to have kept your truck for like years and years and years. Remember, because people were asking about
Chevrolet. I remember Chevrolet would send out mailers even to the dealership about the Legends Club. I've heard about it. I see you, David.
Yeah. I remember that.
Don't worry, Scott's getting it.
1989.
1989, guys. He was all right. He was close.
And we built 111 of them.
Wow. 100, and that's it?
Yep.
Wow. That's a rare car.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was basically a race car. You had to trick it into ordering it. If you had to order, I don't remember. Well, let me see if it's in here. There was a trick to it, and we never advertised it the first year. 111 LEs for the SCCA showroom stock racing series, but one LE wasn't ordered like other RPOs. If you ordered an RPO G92 performance axle on an IROC Z coupe, that triggered the 1 LE. But when it was ordered, it forced several other options, including an engine oil cooler, 4-wheel disc brakes, dual converter exhaust, and specific tires.
Wow. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Did you see Rascal Flats is selling his Camaro? I did not see that. Oh, didn't you post someone selling their Camaro today?
Yeah. It's on Facebook.
It looked like a nice one.
It is 6,600 miles. They sold it new, and it came back in on trade. And Joe LeCue and Mark Flora went to college with me, and so I put it out there so they can find a buyer for it.
Wow.
And it's clean as a pin and has all the records with it.
Good.
Here's what I don't know. I don't know what they traded it in on. Okay. I would assume a Corvette, but
well, you see what they're doing now. They're trying to get Camaro customers to buy Corvettes. They're offering a $2,500 rebate to get you out of your Camaro to go into a Corvette.
Wait a minute. The White Book has less than 1,700 V6 2010 Camaros with the tangerine interior. We didn't break it down that far. I broke down all the figures. I would order from 1997 until 2018, even though I retired in 2016. I would get down to distribution and ask them to print out a report. And it was usually about 340 pages. And I would take it home for a weekend and start counting until my eyes crossed. And then I would realize there were all these, some things weren't adding up. So I would get back down to distribution, ask for a couple dozen more reports to fine tune everything. And, but if somebody tells you you've got one with, a white one with this interior with all these options, there's no system to be able to tell you that. Well, there is, but it involves using the warranty system. And of course, I retired in 2016. So you signed my 4th Gen S body. I think in 2000. There was another guy signed my car at the same time, but I don't know who that was. It was Joe Roberts. He was a Pontiac guy, and he became our product manager for a while.
Nice. Yep, Shaka Steel Vert. That is a beautiful car.
Mm-hmm.
In satin steel metallic.
Yeah.
Of course you would.
Are you answering the prez?
I am answering the prez.
Well, we're coming up on an hour and a half. Well, yeah, you can. I was actually proposing something that would have funded the Heritage Center by simply going out and designing a program and going through the warranty records where you could get a report that told you how many cars we built with every option just like yours. Now, little trivia question. Guess how many build combinations we had in 1997 to build 67,000 cars?
Rascal Flats is coming.
15 million.
West Coast Customs did it. What, 15 million? Holy hell.
They did it on the show.
And of course, the assembly plant wants to build every car exactly the same with no changes, because then all of a sudden your quality ratings go through the ceiling.
So is this the Camaro, y'all, that's getting sold?
I'm sorry?
Apparently, this is the Camaro that's getting sold right now by Rascal Flats. It looks like a 5th gen with T-tops. It's a custom build.
Don't know. I don't have those reports right here next to me.
We'll try to get you. We'll try to find out that answer for you, Keith. Not a problem.
Let me write that down. I'll find out and get you the answer. Okay.
Do you know any shows near you next year that are going to be pretty big?
Near me?
Yeah,
No.
just the normal ones: Camaro Fest, Camaro Nationals.
I'm doing Camaro Fest. I'm doing Superfest. I'm doing the Nationals. I'm doing the Berger 100th anniversary show. If Camaro Country F-Body does it in Canada, I'm going to try to go there. So
We need to do the Canada show. Mama
Yeah,
needs
I
a
haven't.
passport.
I haven't done a Canada show.
yeah,
We should do it. I should get a passport. We should go do that.
Well, we can't thank Scott enough for his time, guys. And please, in the comments, thank this man. He's a we believe he's a legend because we know he is. Even though he doesn't want
they
to.
lied to you. They're a bunch of liars.
You know what? We got some special things coming up with him and this woman here. So stay tuned. We're gonna be getting together soon, and we'll bring you more content like this. So don't forget to hit that smash that like button, and subscribe if you haven't. Tell your friends. And tomorrow's gonna be a special time because it's gonna be, even though it's Halloween, it's gonna be Christmas and Halloween. All right, because we're making Camaro Cave Christmas ornaments with Tonya, just like this one right here. There's snow in there. There's a Camaro in there, and you can hang it on your tree. Or wherever you want to hang it. I don't know. Right?
The list of stuff you need is in the community page.
And in the description of tomorrow's video that is already live. So don't miss out on that. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tony is going to be on with Girl Cave. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you, Scott. We can't really thank you enough for everything you've done for General Motors. And honestly, you've done it with the kindness of your heart for something so passionate that you love, and we're reaping the benefits of all your hard work. So we can't thank you enough.
My pleasure. Have a good one. Signing
No
off.
problem. Appreciate it, Scott. Have a good night.
Yep, you too.
Keep the faith. Keep the faith.
100%.
Honestly, that the man's a legend. No matter how much you talk about, if you talk about Camaro, you know Scott Settlemire. He's always been the face. People come and go. He's the face. And you know it because he's willing to put himself out there.
He definitely married that company.
He did. He gave 40 years of his life for General Motors. Oh, that's awesome. That's so awesome, Jan. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for all you do. Definitely keep the faith. Yep, definitely will help you out, man. Love to help your daughter out with a car. Not a problem. We're getting busy. Appreciate that, Peter. Thank you so much for joining the channel and being on here. Literally, guys, we're here for you guys. We do this for you. We love to do it. We love bringing the community together, and we're going to keep doing it because we need to show General Motors that even though you got rid of the car,
You cannot. That's not right.
well, you usually do it.
Oh, that's not right, babe. That's not right.
Hook it up, babe. Hook it up.
GM, you can take the Camaro away from us, but you cannot take us away from the Camaro.
See? That's why you need a good woman behind you, I guess. Right?
You found a good woman?
I don't know. Where's she at?
Can I meet her?
No.
No.
Keep your faith. Wear your seatbelt, guys. Definitely join us tomorrow night. Well, join her tomorrow night. Now I think we're gonna go eat dinner because
For
it's
Halloween.
almost 9:30 and watch the Yankees spank on the Dodgers and make the first ever Game 6 in a World Series. Go back to LA, win not one but two, and do the impossible and win the World Series in Game 7 in LA. because that's what's gonna happen. Let's go, Yanks. We appreciate all you guys. Be safe, wear your seatbelts, and we'll see you on the next one.
Tomorrow.
Later, y'all.